code. This is a beginner's guide to Elliott Wave. Of course, we always take it a little further and give you guys I think a pretty good bang for the buck here. We've got a good amount of slides to get through. This is just going to be night one. We've got night two set up for next Thursday, same time. So I've got a pretty good course I'm really excited to put in front of you. So this is more geared towards the beginner Elliott Wave surfer. I think it's going to give you a really nice start. And if you've had some exposure, most of you probably have had exposure to Elliott, it's going to be a nice refresher in the beginning. And then I can almost assure you we're going to challenge you with some content here in the back half of the class. It's meant to be an intro course, but as I said, I think I'll be able to challenge you. So let's have some fun. We are now rolling. Okay, so as always, we're going to be talking about some live trading here, guys. So we need to be cautious, only be risking capital that we can afford to lose. I'm a real trader, as you guys know. I put real trades on every single day, and you must be aware of the risks and willing to accept them in order to invest in any markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose, because you're going to be scared money, and scared money never wins. You got to be confident in not only your account size, but each individual trade you put on. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I accept this risk? And the answer is yes. Your mind is free and set to fire and execute the game plan accordingly, okay? You're going to have winning trades. You're going to have losing trades. I guarantee you, winning is part of the business, okay? I'm not a get-rich-quick guy. There are some scoundrels out there who are trying to make it sound real easy just to sell you something, but that is not me, as you guys know. A lot of you have worked with me before. You know I like to work hard because I love this business, and I expect the same from you. I can't tell you I'm going to triple your account here in a year. Just not going to happen. Well, if you took huge risks in a year, let's say triple your account next month. Okay, so Elliott is what we're talking about here. A lot of misconceptions out there. You know, it kind of gets a bad rap sometimes. A lot of people say it's like trying to read it in Mandarin. But, you know, I think at the end of this course, I can almost guarantee you, if you apply yourself, it will be like reading the markets in English, and it won't be as difficult as you've heard it maybe, or if you've just kind of started out, it won't be as really as bad as it seems. It's actually an amazing methodology. It's been the staple of my career, my trading career, my trading profession since, I guess I first was exposed to it in 2002, and then I really started to get after it in 2006 and 2007. So I'm up on 10 years of working with Elliott. So I'm not a veteran yet, but you know, I'm kind of well on my way, and I've worked very hard at it. Okay. So how to get the most out of this class. And those of you who are watching on the recording, I am doing this live. Okay. I was describing to the attendees here that I don't think this has ever been done before. So this is a live session that's being recorded in my studio here. I do believe we're setting webinar history here. I think, maybe not, but let's go with it. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of questions circling around in your mind. You know, I think it's okay to ask questions. I will obviously kind of monitor them to make sure we don't get too far off topic. And I have them right here so I can see your questions. And go ahead and ask them. If I don't address it, if I just say, just hang on to that one, we'll hit that question later on or at the end of the session here. But I'd like to make this interactive, so please don't hesitate to ask questions. If it's not relevant to the topic, just hang on to it, make a note, and we'll come back. So as I say here, I love answering questions. As you can tell, I love chatting with you, trying to make this fun. You know, so let me know. Let me know. Slides are numbered, so write slide number down, and I'll come back and hit that question. Okay, Barry, perfect. Kai, yes, I saw your numerous questions. Yes, I did. And I had Nate respond to you that most of your questions would be answered here in this class. Okay, so many eager minds out there, be patient, listen, but ask questions. This is being recorded, so you don't need to frantically write everything down. You're going to get the recordings, the slides, the notes, this high-def video in my studio. I'm looking at 3 different monitors, not even my normal trading station. So I have, hopefully I can get you a pretty awesome copy of this, and I hope you use it for years to come. You'll have access to this forever in our new members area. So that's great. So, you know, if you're new to Elliott, don't expect to pick everything up. You know, you can look to get 1/3 to 2/3 or 38.2% to 61.8% of the content at first. This is not something, a skill that you can learn in a weekend. This is a skill you got to work at. Okay, I'm not teaching you how to trade stochastic crosses and MACD crossovers and RSI overbought, RSI oversold. You can learn that in about 12 minutes. Okay, this is a lifelong skill. There will be aha moments, so please wait for them. If you're newer, there will be quite a few. If you're not so new and you have exposure in Elliott, there might not be as many, but it's the last few aha moments that make the big difference. Okay, if you're new to Elliott, it's going to be a bit like drinking from a fire hose. I'm going to monitor these questions. They're right here, and I will do everything I can to make sure you come away with a good, solid understanding. Okay, so what's on the agenda for today? Okay, here we go. First, we're going to identify the mindset required to trade successfully with Elliott Wave. We talked about this in the marketing class, the sales class that got you in here. Aren't you so glad? But this is really, really important. So we're going to kind of review some of that content. Then we're going to hit corrective waves first. I want to do corrective waves first because I think it answers one of the most important questions in Elliott, which is, where do you start the wave count? And I promise you, how many of you right here, Bruce, absolutely, you're getting slides. Yep, I just grabbed that. How many of you here have that question right now? I don't know where to start the wave count. And if you don't mind, get those typing fingers out. I get insecure if people don't write back at me. So that's awesome. Yeah, it's perfect. Hey, Larry F., what's up? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the most common question. It's such a good question. So using Fib and Elliott, we'll isolate the likely beginning and ending points of coming market moves to help you structure your trades, which is what we're all here to do, figure out how to make money. Discover the corrective patterns to trade in the wave sequence, look at live trades with live capital, and look at where the stock market is going next. Hang around till the end, but also obviously hit Thursday, and then we're going to do live trading on Tuesday. So we're just getting started here. Come on, Larry. What do you mean all Greek to me? I know you're a good customer. Hey, Keith, what's up? Keith A. All my friends are here. That's awesome. Okay, so you guys do remember this from the marketing class, but this is so important. I do want to review this. Take a little bit of time to go over this. Okay. So caveman, when caveman was walking around in the way back, searching in for unfamiliar areas like around the bush or in a cave, a natural instinct kicked up. Okay, and those natural instincts were fear, adrenaline, aggression, all these kind of fight or flight tendencies that are hardwired into our brain. Unfortunately, thousands of years later, our primitive brains have not evolved, and we still have this caveman mechanism built into our minds. When we face uncertainty and we don't know what's going to happen in the future, this caveman mechanism takes over. And as you know, there's really nothing quite as uncertain as trading. Trading can be as uncertain as life because you never know what's going to happen right around the bend. So, you know, you can exceed and excel at life, and you can exceed and excel at trading just by taking all the information presently available to you, structuring the best trade, having confidence to know that you can't know everything, and you're just going to deal with everything as it comes. And you've done all your work to figure out all the past indicators and factors that go into your game plan. So again, I mentioned this in the earlier class, but that's okay. Really cool study by Caltech neuroeconomists, which I didn't even know there was such a thing as a neuroeconomist. They imaged a bunch of brains that were forced to make decisions with increasingly uncertain bets, like trading. They found, as they saw the imagery in the brains that are hard, like there was a physical shift of where the decision making was occurring from the front of the brain to the back of the brain with the more uncertain information. The less the information the brain had, the more rational and erratic the decisions became. Okay, so literally the brain shifted the decision-making mechanism. Let me get my drawing tool out here. Pen, let's go color blue. The decision-making was originally up here at the front of the brain in the rational brain and sent back to the limbic system, which is where a lot of our emotions are generated, such as anxiety and fear. So literally when you face increasing uncertainty about trying to foretell the future, the decision making is forced back into the emotional part of the brain. And obviously that's not going to work very well for trading. So we need to retrain our brain. And the way we do that is with EQ. Not IQ, intelligence, but emotional intelligence. My wife would say I have probably pretty lousy EQ, but I think I have it pretty well developed in trading. Successful people can quiet this mechanism and think rationally in the face of uncertainty. Basically, you have to be okay. You have to be okay with knowing that I don't know everything. I can't know everything. Okay, they say like a smart man, knows what he knows, and then he's fine with everything that he doesn't. Right? And I'm sure I just butchered that, and I'm sure you could probably say it better than I can, but that's fine. So according to a study by TalentSmart, this is the group, 90% of top performers have high EQs and earn, on average, $28,000 more per year if they can develop this emotional intelligence. And I read this article in Forbes, and I really thought it was interesting. I really recommend you take a look. There are exercises you can do to train your EQ. So here are some of the ways you can boost your EQ. Get good at making decisions, sorry for the misspelling, in the face of uncertainty. Embrace that which you can't control. And that's the most important one, I think, in trading. But the second most important thing is, being that you can't control everything, you must have a contingency plan. You have to have plan B, which so few traders have. It's crazy. Learn from mistakes, but then quickly move on and don't dwell on them. Okay, don't beat yourself up. Like a smart man knows he can't know everything. So if I put a bad trade on, or 2 trades or 3 trades, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I first started trading, like it really affects you. Now I'm like, okay, it sucks. I hate losing, but I'm really not going to lose confidence in myself or my abilities. And that just comes with time. Okay. Like I go through I got a couple customers who are texting me, and, if we go through 2 or 3 losing trades, like I can see the tone in their text and their little panic. I'm like, dude, relax. I've been through this hundreds of times before. It's not a big deal. Okay, so this one I'm not going to spend as much time on, but I will let you scroll through this in the archive if you want. Basically, what happened here is in the first half of 2017, for the first time in a while, discretionary-based hedge funds outperformed the algos, the algorithms, the computers, the trading bots, which is really, really interesting here, okay? Everyone is saying, and there's something down here that says like only 4% of investors only 4% they would decrease exposure to quant funds. Like 96% is looking to increase exposure in their money, in their investments, to quantitative funds, which are robots. So everyone thinks quant, robot, algos, systems is the way to go. But for the first time in a while, discretionary-based hedge funds outperformed automated by a margin of 2 to 1. So the quant funds came in at 3.1%, and the discretionary funds came in at 5.99%. And there's another part in here somewhere that generally discretionary trading does better when volatility picks up. And make no mistake, when volatility picks up is when the stock market starts to drop. And that's coming sooner rather than later. So don't think this is all just antiquated analysis. I think the algos and the hedge fund, the algos and the bots are not everything they're cracked up to be.